Episode 130 of the State of the Old Republic podcast was originally recorded on December 9th, 2024. It's the State of the Old Republic podcast. This week on the show, art modernization is a big part of 7.6. Tython, Korriban, and Ilum are looking great, but how about our characters? I'll tell you about where we are with character modernization. Dynamic encounters, the Lair Boss, new augments, a new Comlink UI are all coming in 7.6. Story is not. I'll tell you about the new features in this game update. And finally this week, I'll talk about Life Day, Cartel Market editions, and sales, as well as all of the other events happening in December. And with that, it's time to make the jump to Lightspeed.
And cue the moron.
Welcome to episode 130 of the State of the Old Republic podcast. I'm your host, Ted, and as you heard in the opening, I have a great show lined up for you today. We've had the teaser video, the live stream, and the PTS. Rehearsal is over, and it's time to raise the curtain on Game Update 7.6 Galactic Threads. As you heard in the opening, I'm recording this on December 9th, late on December 9th. I wanted to get this out over the weekend, but I also wanted to wait until we had the patch notes and we got the update on what's happening with character modernization. Get to that in a minute. But here we are, Game Update 7.6, Galactic Threads is launching. Depending on when you're listening to this, you might be waiting for the 5-hour maintenance window to close and for the servers to come up. The long maintenance window is due to the character name purge. If you're a subscriber, you're fine. If you're not, and you haven't logged into a character since January 1st, 2024, that character's name is now up for grabs. It doesn't mean you will lose the name. It just means you could lose it. When the servers do come up and you log on to the game, check your mail because you might be treated to some sweet rewards. And bonus, if your character happens to be on the fleet when you log on, you most definitely will be treated to a sweet snowball in the face, followed by a tinsel bomb explosion because it's Life Day. Well, let's talk about those rewards. First, if you are subscribed to the game, you will receive the Mirm Cicada mount. This special mount is inspired by some of the speeders seen in the new Star Wars series, Skeleton Crew. And it has both companion and mini-pet functionality, meaning your active companion and mini-pet will ride on the mount along with you. Keep in mind there are some size limitations and the mount does not accommodate all companions and pets. If you are not currently subscribed and decide that you really want this mount, you have until January 4th, 2025 to subscribe. And you don't have to subscribe till the end of time. You could subscribe for a month, get the mount, cancel the subscription, and you will have the mount until the end of time. If you participated in the PTS and completed the Dynamic Encounter achievements, you will receive the 2 Kai-Zyken mounts and a host of titles, assuming you don't have them already. You will also receive the new B1 SAL mini-pet inspired by the Star Wars series Andor. Additionally, if you defeated the Propagator XR53 Lair Boss, you will receive a title for killing him in Story Mode and a title for killing him in Veteran Mode. Fun fact, last time I checked, I think I was up to 85 emails of stuff whenever I created a new character. I honestly won't be happy until I get that number to 100, and if I do, I hope it immediately jumps to 101 as they give me a title or something for reaching 100 emails worth of stuff. And what better way to up that number than with Twitch drops? Starting on December 10th, you can earn the Amethyst Volptilla mount by watching 4 hours of live SWTOR content on Twitch. Remember, it must be live content, not a VOD, and you need to make sure your Twitch account is connected to your SWTOR account. The campaign will run for 28 days, which means you have until January 7th, 2025 to earn the mount. Doesn't have to be 4 hours in a row. It just has to be 4 hours total. That's the basics: a 5-hour maintenance window, new subscriber and PTS rewards, and a new Twitch drop campaign, all coming with Game Update 7.6. Let me catch my breath and we'll dive into the meat and potatoes of Galactic Threads. One of the big changes coming in 7.6 is art modernization, and not just to the environments this time, although there are some amazing improvements coming to Hoth, Ilum, Korriban, and Tython. Getting good in the neighborhood, as they say. Some of the humanoid player characters and NPCs are getting a facelift, specifically humans, cyborgs, Chiss, Miri Allen, Miraluka, Zabrax, Chagruda, and Radataki. These changes were announced on the 7.6 live stream, where we were treated to a video of stunning before and after changes for character models. The changes went up on the PTS, and thanks to an unintended shader bug, our characters look like they had been adventuring in the Old Republic for much longer than the game's 13 years. This led to a flurry of before and after memes, my favorite being a side-by-side picture of a young and old Darth Zash.
Apprentice! What have you done to me?
What have you done to me, indeed? That was the battle cry from those of us who ventured onto the PTS to see how our characters would look, and it was not good. The bug was fixed and published onto the PTS, but when it was finally brought down, there were still lingering issues. This was a list of known issues after the testing period concluded. Chiss skin looks patchy. Some characters' teeth have the same color/texture as the character model skin. When hueing is applied to skin textures, some character models appear more orange or red. Dark side complexions look way more pronounced. Nose shapes looked wider and more square, and there is a thin seam that appears between the neck and torso on male characters. While it was great to test the features and provide feedback, the PTS didn't exactly leave people feeling great about things. On the eve of going live, Eric Musco hit the forums to provide an update about what we'll see at launch. He wrote, "We've changed quite a bit during PTS, but here is just a quick glance at some of the improvements we made throughout. The initial PTS build had a shader bug causing unintended definition, making characters looking older than intended. Character model bodies appeared to have softened muscle definition. Wrinkles under eyes were more pronounced when the lower shader setting was applied. Wrinkles in gameplay and cinematics were out of parity. Scar customizations were not in line with the character's skin color." Eric went on to write, "Now, even on the last build of PTS, there were still a few tweaks we wanted to make sure to hit before we went live, and so for any of you who played on our last build, you will see the following changes since then. The character's teeth will no longer have the same color/texture as the character's skin. Characters are not as orange or red due to changes in skin shading. Dark side lighting has improved for skin textures. Shader changes were made to skin lighting to slightly improve the appearance of muscle definition and structures such as cheekbones and noses. The abundance of eye sparkles seen in eyes has been lessened. We're not done yet, though. There are a couple of bigger bugs that we definitely want to address, but they are not resolved in 7.6, such as head seams. That bug isn't new. It's been around basically since launch, but certainly when we point at our character models for modernization and say, look at them, any bugs, old or new, are going to draw attention. Just know that we are tracking those types of issues and will provide updates when we can." So there you have it. The character model changes are going live with 7.6, and there will be bugs. So how will things look? Unfortunately, we'll just have to wait for the servers to come up and see. On a scale of they look like old Darth Zash to they look like the live stream video, I'm hoping it's more towards the latter. Because as I said in the last episode, character changes are a big deal. And even if there were no bugs and they got everything 100% right, there are going to be people who just aren't happy about the change. Now, it's important to remember that the intent here is not to upend everything by making radical changes. The goal is for our characters, companions, and other NPCs to resemble what they are today. As Eric wrote in his post, we want to ensure that your character still looks and feels like your character. That doesn't mean it won't be a little different. That is inevitable and the nature of modernization, but we wanted to be very careful that we weren't making any changes that would dramatically change the essence of your appearance. Now, during the testing period, players did ask about getting more customization options, such as an age slider. And Eric talked about the possibility of adding more options in an earlier post where he wrote, "We've definitely seen your comments and feedback regarding having this type of feature available, something that will allow you more agency over your character customization. I can tell you that giving you more choice in how you look is always something we are interested in, and so this is something we are talking about. No promises, as we need to understand the scope of adding that type of functionality." And while getting more options and having more granularity in shaping our characters is great, that's not a fix to the problem people faced on the PTS. Now, if you don't like the way your characters look, you can always hit up the character appearance designer and make some changes. The cost to change your character's appearance will be discounted by 90% until January 7th. Just keep in mind that fine-tuning options is not the same as turning the changes off. Now, Eric did mention in his post that there are some known issues making their way into the game, but he asked that players continue to submit bugs and reports, and he provided guidelines on the information that the team would find helpful. He wrote, "We encourage players to report bugs as they see them as well. Similar to reporting from the PTS, please include character sliders when submitting reports. Additionally, providing screenshots in various lighting, such as cinematics and indoor-outdoor lighting, would be helpful info for us to gather. Our goal is to have character modernization for these races to be in a solid place before moving on to modernizing the others." And even though the alien species are not getting the upgrade, Cathars, Nautiloans, Twi'leks, and Sith purebloods are not entirely unaffected by the changes. Here is what Eric said about that on the forums. "In short, texture changes to those species are coming in future updates. However, players with keen eyes have noted that the above character models have seen some updates as the lighting and shader improvements affect all player character models across the board." Okay, deep breath here. I really don't know what to expect when the servers come up. I really liked what I saw in the before and after video they showed on the live stream, and if they can achieve that, then I think we'll be okay. If they don't get it right, you can always stick a helmet on your character and take some solace in knowing that we spend most of our time looking at the back of their heads. One of the major features coming in 7.6 is dynamic encounters. We now know a lot more about dynamic encounters and how they will work, and what kinds of rewards we can get by doing them. I talked about how dynamic encounters work in episode 129. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail today, but I am going to clarify a few things. First, there are 3 types of encounters. There are easy encounters that are group shared. These have simple objectives and little to no combat. There are hard encounters, and I use that term loosely, that are encounter shared. Everyone in the area shares the progress. These encounters may have multiple steps or end in a boss fight. And then there are hidden chain invasions. These appear once an hour and are encounter shared. Encounters can last between 30 to 45 minutes and repeat every 2 hours. These encounters occur on Tatooine and Hoth. There are 48 encounters on Tatooine. 10 are Imperial only and 10 are Republic only. There are 52 encounters on Hoth, 7 for Imperials and 7 for pubs. As far as the rewards you can get from these encounters, if you're level 80, you get the usual comms and tech fragments, which is fine. But there are also tangible rewards as well. There is the Freckled Lothcat Kitten Pet, which is a rare reward available to Republic players from various encounters on Hoth. There is the Hidden Chain Armor Set, which, as you probably guessed, comes from the Hidden Chain encounters. But you don't get the whole set in one swoop. You'll loot the individual pieces, which means RNG, so it could take a minute to get the complete set. Then there is the Electric Gaze Armor Set, and for this one, specific pieces drop from specific encounters, meaning boots drop from a specific encounter on Hoth, while the helmet drops from a specific encounter on Tatooine. There are 5 fitted armor sets you can earn. These are all old sets from the Cartel Market that are no longer sold, but you can now get them from encounters. Pieces for these armor sets are random drops from specific encounters, meaning you can't target a specific piece of armor, but you can hunt for the armor set by targeting certain encounters. There is a rare creature mount, the Everglade Zakag. It's a random drop from any encounter, and it's BOE, so it can be sold on the GTN or traded to another player. There is also a decoration called the Hoth Snowcap Plant, and it is a rare reward from the Snow-Capped Delicacies encounter found on, you guessed it, Tatooine. No, I'm kidding, it's Hoth. There are also a metric ton of achievements for these encounters, including some secret achievements. I don't know what they are because, well, they're secret. You can earn 2 mounts. There's the Desert Sands Lifter and the Frozen Peaks Lifter. Both mounts have mini pet functionality. The Desert Sands Lifter is earned by completing every encounter on Tatooine, and the Frozen Peaks Lifter is earned by completing every encounter on Hoth. Another new feature that we may see pop up in some of the dynamic encounters is the new Comlink interface. The Comlink is a new tool to deliver conversational content without the need to voice it. It's the Old Republic's version of text messaging. And a couple of places where we might see this are terminals and character conversations. For example, a future date night might start from a Comlink conversation. Yo, Mako, you up? Functionally, it will work similar to the standard mission and KOTOR style presentations. You'll be given choices, and some might even grant dark or light side points, and it can be used for currency turn-ins like we've seen with past Galactic seasons. And it's important to understand that this is a new addition to the conversation toolkit. It's not the end of voiced stories. One place we know the Comlink will be used is in the introductory mission for the Propagator XR53 Lair Boss on Ilum. This is a single boss operation designed for a group of 8 players and will be available in story and veteran modes. It has its own backstory tied to the False Emperor storyline, and it is the source for a new set of augments. As I mentioned in the last episode, there are 3 new tiers of augments, Augment 83, 86, and Advanced 86. And these are meant to become the go-to augments for players. The Augment 83s are almost as good as the current best augments, and although the schematics for these drop from the Lair Boss, they don't require any materials from the Lair Boss to make. They can be crafted with materials and components we have today. And the schematics are BOE, which means you'll start to find them on the GTN once things get rolling. Now, since going up on the PTS, Broadsword has made some adjustments, all of which look good. The drop chance for schematics was significantly increased in both story and veteran mode. The number of components and materials needed to craft all the new augments has been reduced, and the number of special materials that drop from the Lair Boss has been increased. Also, remember the price of the OEM 37s and RPM 13s is going down from 4,000 tech fragments to 1,800 tech fragments. These are needed to craft the Augment 86s and Advanced 86s. You'll still need to run the Lair Boss quite a few times to get what you need to craft a full set of the 86s and Advanced 86s, but it should be better than how it was initially designed. And if you want to take a break from running the Lair Boss or dynamic encounters, PvP Season 7, The Path to Mastery, is starting in 7.6 and will run for 16 weeks. A couple of important changes are coming to PvP. First, you will no longer be able to queue for war zones in a full group of 8. The maximum group size that you can queue with is now 4. Also, the set bonuses on level 75 gear will no longer work in PvP. They're fine in PvE, just not PvP. And of course, like previous PvP seasons, you can work your way through the rewards track, earning armor sets, decorations, PvP tokens, and more. So those are all the big features coming in 7.6. The Galactic Thread story was supposed to be part of this as well, but has been delayed, and we think this is likely due to the ongoing voice actor strike. Still, plenty of other things to do while we wait for that. If the core features in Game Update 7.6 aren't enough to keep you busy, there are several events happening in the month of December. Life Day is starting on December 10th, and if you're wondering what it's all about, well, here's the description from the event website. It is that time of year again. Denizens across the galaxy get ready to celebrate Life Day. Special missions like a special snowflake, parcel droid, and could use a good hug are available during this limited time event. Throwing snowballs and participating in these missions will earn players snow-covered parcels, redeemable for unique rewards. Get out there, throw some snowballs, hug some Wookiees, and most importantly, have fun. There are 2 new rewards available for the event this year. You can purchase a set of ornate Life Day robes, and there is the Tirsa G1 F7 mount, which I think looks really cool. And I also think there was a missed opportunity to add mini pet functionality to it. I was picturing using this with a Mary Allen dressed in Life Day robes with a Lothcat kitten wearing reindeer antlers sitting on the hood. Maybe next year. One bit of important information, all Life Day rewards, with the exception of the ornate robes and the Tirsa G1 F7, will be 25% off this year. Life Day starts on December 10th and ends on January 7th. The Rakghoul event on Tatooine is also starting on December 10th and will run until December 16th. Nothing new or special here, just your standard Conquest-related event. And I remind everyone that getting Dr. Loken as a companion post Knights of the Fallen Empire requires the Rakghoul event, so this is the opportunity to do that. SWTOR's 13th anniversary, yes, you heard that right, 13th anniversary is starting on December 13th and will run until January 3rd. Be sure to check out the special anniversary vendor on the fleets. I think it's either in the Stronghold area or the PvP area. Just circle the fleet until you find it. The vendor will have all the previous anniversary rewards. Some of them are character rewards like the Senya Holo statue. So if you have any new characters, you might want to bring them by the vendor and pick up those items. They usually put the best view in SWTOR decorations on that vendor as well. Be on the lookout for those. This year's planets were CZ-198, the Black Hole on Corellia, the Minbusa District on Hutta, Section X on Belsavis, and Ziost. They look really nice, and I look forward to getting those and putting them up in my strongholds. There will be a double XP event starting on December 22nd, and that will run until January 2nd. And on December 24th, the Relics of the Gree event will start and run until December 30th. It's a good opportunity to spend some time on Ilum and appreciate the updated environment. There you go. It's looking like a very busy December this year. I'm going to talk about the cartel market now. There are several sales happening this month. You can get 50% off collection unlocks from December 13th through January 7th. Character recustomizations will be 90% off from December 10th through January 7th. And the rename character name consumable will be 90% off from December 10th through January 7th as well. The big news, though, is the Remote Trading Outpost Decoration Bundle, inspired by Galaxy's Edge, will be coming to the cartel market. This is a unique bundle that has close to 167 decorations, including 2 mini pets, a baby Dianoga and the D5CO DJ droid, which has flashing lights and plays music. It's also the first decoration bundle that has mission content. The way the bundle works is this. The initial set of decorations will be neglected items, meaning they're kind of beat up and broken down. But there will be a series of missions where you can get the cleaned up or restored versions of everything. After completing the missions, you will get to keep both the neglected and restored versions of the decorations, so you don't lose anything. We still don't know how much the bundle will cost, but I expect it'll be pretty expensive. Other items coming to the Cartel Market are some pirate-themed weapons and armor inspired by the Skeleton Crew series. And there is a new bundle you can purchase called the Master the Fight Starbolt Edition. This is another $99 bundle just like the Firebolt Edition that was available last summer. For $99, you get a 6-month subscription, 5,500 Cartel coins, 5 primary yellow metallic dies, and 5 secondary yellow metallic dies on all of your characters. And you get the Starbolt mount, which is rideable at level 1 and has a special speed boost ability. This bundle will be available until January 14th. Couple more items before I let you go. Kai from Today in Tor interviewed Caitlin Sullivan-Kelly and Ashley Rule and talked to them about SWTOR's main story, the Legacy of the Sith expansion, and the story creation process. It is a great read, and I encourage you to check it out, and I'll have a link to this in the show notes. I also want to give a shout out to Shintar from Going Commando. She gave me a mention in her recent Around the SWTOR Sphere October and November 2024 blog post. Thank you for that. She also wrote that there is a GoFundMe site for Xanthi Elbrick. For those that don't know, she is the voice actor for the female Sith Inquisitor player character, one of my favorite voices in the game. She is recovering from serious health issues and looking for help. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well, and I wish her a speedy and full recovery. And that's the State of the Old Republic for today. Let me cut on the sublight engines and cue the music and congratulate you on surviving another half hour listening to episode 130 of the State of the Old Republic podcast. I'm your host, Ted, and I thank you for tuning in. You can find this podcast on Buzzsprout and iTunes and wherever else you find your podcasts. I'm also back to putting these on YouTube. You can listen to the show directly from the show site, which is sotorpodcast.com, and there is an RSS feed where you can subscribe to the podcast directly. If you have a question for the show, you can email me at sotorpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, remember the Sith Code, Cake is alive.